and welcome to News Channel 8. I'm Jerome Aegean, and in tonight's top stories, former CEO Rodney Miller of Schneider Regional Medical Center has now been convicted of up to 3 years, possibly a little less, in prison after only a 45-minute deliberation from the jurors. News Channel 8's Lee Carl reports from St. Thomas.
In what could be considered a high-profile case here in the Virgin Islands was that of Rodney Miller. But this trial deals only with the matter of how he obtained a job as CEO, and what the Assistant Attorney General, Denise Counts George, said was that he lied. It took about 45 minutes for the Superior Court jury to find Rodney Miller Sr. guilty of defrauding the government by lying about his bad conduct discharge from the U.S. Navy. Rather interestingly enough, as she talked about it, they said it's clear when Mr. Miller checked off honorable or general, he knew that this was not true. They're talking about the matter here. Miller's criminal background was exposed by the Daily News, as we know, and the investigative report Salaries First, Patients Later, published July in 2008. The News, by the way, the Daily News detailed the crimes that led to Miller's court-martial by the U.S. Navy. The sentence to time in the brig, received a bad conduct discharge, and did not disclose that discharge status on his job application. So in a subsequent report, the Daily News and Hospital Secrets exposed the additional crimes that Miller had committed. Those military documents, by the way, obtained by the Daily News last year from the Office of Navy Judge Adjutant General, Miller stole a fellow serviceman's credit cards, went on a shopping spree with them. When charged with the crimes, he concocted a scheme to give himself an alibi, falsifying the documents, drawing other service members in to help him, ultimately lying to his attorney. 2 days after the Daily News report, he, of course, was resigned from his job in Florida. We won't go into all the details here. But again, it was the VI Assistant Attorney, Denise George Counts, said, if Rodney Miller didn't lie, we wouldn't be here. The case is all about lying that Rodney Miller told. And George Counts told the jury that when Miller filled out his VI government job application, he had a choice, on how he filled out the application. He opted to lie to ensure he got the Schneider Regional top job. So, and of course, we now know. With him, of course, were his attorneys. Mr. Glore maintained that the application is irrelevant to Miller's job at the hospital. Glore called the job application made inadequate, confusing to applicants. And it's fair to say Mr. Miller was confused by the form, I would say, and during cross-examination, Glore asked the VI Personnel Director, Kenneth Herman, Jr., if he believed the old form was inadequate. Herman said that it was. Glore asked Herman if the non-applicable box on the old form could be confusing. Herman said the old form was not confusing, and that the military veterans know what honorable and general discharge means. Anyway, we could go through this entire story, but basically this is the first of trials that Mr. Miller will have to face. And Judge Leon Kendall said that Miller's sentencing would be sentenced 60 days and that Miller faces up to 3 years in prison on the felony conviction. After the trial, Miller and Glore left the courtroom without any comment. George Counts said she was pleased with the verdict. I believe justice has definitely been served. Now we have to wait and see, as Miller may well have to face other charges. He will face charges of felony charges of stealing from the hospital via secret pay perks and bonuses. In St. Thomas, Lee Carl for News Channel 8.
Thanks, Lee. Do you have mold? Many of the schools and places on the territory have been experiencing a bad mold problem. If you do, there is a company here from the States who could help us out with this problem, and Positive Nelson gives a press conference on it earlier today. Let's take a look.
Good morning to everyone who have gathered here, for the media for being present. We thank you for coming to cover this. As you know, we've been faced with a mold situation here in the territory. And what I'm here to tell the people of the Virgin Islands today is that I was contacted by a former student of mine, Ms. Tabitha Adlam, who works for a company, and the CEO of the company is here, Mr. Steve, and I'm going to pronounce the last name, Diacutis, who is the CEO of the company. They contacted me from Florida, which is where they now reside and the company is, about a permanent solution to mold. Of course, hearing this and her excitement, because she has a story also where she has suffered with missing many days of school while as a student here in the territory due to mold. She was excited about being able to offer a resolution to our mold conditions. So I'm here with Steve and Tabitha today to tell you about the product. But what we're particularly interested in, they came here prepared to do a demonstration of the product. He will tell you how the product works, and he'll give you more detail about how the product works. We are also here to tell you that they will be at the fair at my booth. We don't have the number yet, with information about the product and other services that are offered. I believe that what has troubled me about this whole episode is that the demonstration at the school was actually canceled by the commissioner, and stated that they needed to go through some type of procurement procedure. This was a free demonstration, and I thought I was very alarmed that we weren't eager to take advantage of this free demonstration, which would permanently at least resolve the mold gathering in at least several rooms. So that concerned me.
Everybody I've met in St. Croix has been extremely hospitable. I've really enjoyed our time here. As the senator said, we came here mainly to do a demonstration of a product. What our product does mainly, the one thing that other products do not do. Most products that people are using today to remove mold or to remediate mold under conditions of moisture or humidity, which is a factor in St. Croix and Florida, where we're from, and most of the states we work in, mold thrives. This material does not allow the growth of mold, doesn't allow mold to continue growing that's already growing, doesn't allow new spores to grow, doesn't allow airborne spores to collect. It is truly a permanent solution. The warranty is very simple. If you read warranties from other products that are being used now, you know, there's a lot of stipulations that are just impossible to meet. 25% humidity is impossible, and many other factors. We don't have that. Under running water, missing roof, a leaky water pipe, this will not allow mold to grow. The cost per square foot, application fees and everything else are lower cost than the other companies we've found in the past. And the way that I've seen mold being treated, or actually not, it hasn't been treated, as being clean, is with the use of chlorine or Clorox, and it just doesn't work.
Good morning, everyone. I've suffered with asthma for a very long time, and relocating to the States, I met the company, I met Steve, and I was educated as to how mold grows, how it works. And I came to realize that going through school and seeing all the problems that we had here with mold, that it was a big part of why I was getting sick. And I got really excited because I know, like, leaving here, seeing how it was treated, I know that a lot of people use bleach, and I know that it's not a permanent solution. So I was really excited. I'm like, you know, Steve, I'm telling you, we have a real problem in the Virgin Islands. I need you guys to do some research and see if we could get out here. The people need this. And so he listened, and we did a lot of research on the internet. I want to thank the media a lot, the newspapers and stuff, for publishing a lot of articles. We were able to get a lot of information there. And, you know, so we tried to initiate coming down and telling people of how mold works, not only to tell them, but to showcase the product. And what it is, if we got an opportunity to do the showcase, we would test before, we would test after, and just to show them the guarantee that the mold would be retarded and it wouldn't come back.
Stay with us on News Channel 8. We have more news after the break.